Dokdo Island is 92 kilometers from Korea's Ulleung Island and 157 kilometers from Japan's Oki Island. It's almost twice the distance. More importantly, Dokdo is visible from Ulleung Island, but not from Oki Island. Because Dokdo is visible from Ulleung Island, it is safe to assume that the residents of Ulleung Island have gone to Dokdo for fishing since ancient times. The fishing grounds around Dokdo is rich with good fishing because it is where the cold seawater and warm seawater meet. Around 1438, when the plunder of Japanese pirates intensified, Korea and China moved all the inhabitants of their islands inland and left Ulleung Island and Dokdo as uninhabited islands. Around 1880, when Japanese pirates disappeared, Korea relocated their residents to Ulleung Island in 1881 to live. In 1904, while at war with Russia, Japan realized it was desperately necessary to set up a watchtower on Dokdo to observe the Russian fleet. Accordingly, on February 22, 1905, Japan announced that it would incorporate Dokdo into Japan under the name of Takeshima, and another year later, in April 1906, notified Korea that they had claimed the island. In 1904, the Korea-Japan Treaty was signed by the Japanese force. Its contents were as follows. Korea appoints a Japanese person recommended by the Japanese government as a financial advisor, and all matters related to finance are implemented by asking his opinion. Korea appoints one foreigner recommended by the Japanese government as a diplomatic advisor and conducts all diplomatic affairs through the appointed official. In Korea, diplomatic matters such as the conclusion of treaties with foreign countries must be approved in advance by the Japanese government. 6 months later, on February 22, 1905, Japan announced that it would annex Dokdo, and again, about 9 months later, in November 1905, another disgraceful Treaty of Ulsa was signed. In April 1906, by notifying Korea of the notice of incorporation of Dokdo, they claimed that Dokdo was legally incorporated into Japanese territory under international law. The Notice of 1905 and the Notice of 1906 are by no means legitimate diplomatic procedures. It was a notification that the transfer was unilaterally enforced with the mouth gagged and the hands and feet tied. However, Japan insists that since the Korea-Japan Occupation Treaty was on August 22, 1910, Korea was strictly a sovereign state under international law, and their announcements and notifications were legal under international law. There is a significant amount of methane hydrate gas near Dokdo. However, an economical method of mining in the deep sea has not yet been developed. If mining methods are developed, there will be tremendous tensions between the two countries to occupy a wider economic zone. One day, Japan will escalate tensions with Korea as if it were a war, and eventually acknowledge Dokdo as a Korean territory by condition of request for a fairly large portion of the economic zone. Japan has proposed resolving the Dokdo issue through an international tribunal, but Korea has not agreed to an international tribunal because, in their eyes, there is nothing to resolve. Dokdo is a territory of Korea, and the only one claiming there is a problem with the territory is Japan. By agreeing to an international tribunal, Korea would be giving credit to what Japan is claiming. By not agreeing to it, Korea is simply stating that there is nothing to resolve. Dokdo belongs to Korea, so what is there to resolve? The reason Japan keeps asking Korea to go to the International Tribunal is because Japan is trying to form favorable public opinion that they are the victims of unfairness, both internationally and domestically, by emphasizing that Korea does not agree to resolve this by an international tribunal that they proposed.